My name is Ingo Mogendorf. I am German. I was born in Wuppertal, which is the center of the British armed forces. We were surrounded by British armed forces after the war. I came to London in 1964 working in the hotel industry, and then slowly I got offers to work as an actor in commercials. From the commercials, I was very lucky to get into the films, and that started about 68, 69. And what brought me actually into the film, I was very lucky to do the commercial for People's Stuyvesant, the good smell of the whole wide world, and that actually brought me to the lifetime in the eyesight, let's call it like that, to the film industry. And I was introduced to a very good agency, Beryl Seaton. Her husband was a director, and with her I stayed for about 40 years until she died. So in 1969 I went to the casting for Battle of Britain. I mean, in Battle of Britain is a very big picture. You got every actor in it, from England, Germany, whatever. And I got the part as a German actor. I mean, I was 31 then, and no, 29, sorry. And I mean, I was young. We would say good looking, blonde hair, blue eyes. What else you want from a German? I got the part, and then we were informed that the contract was about 2 months, and we were going to fly out to Spain and to Sevilla. I know all the north of Spain. I never have been down to Sevilla, so I actually looked forward to it. We had a big plane with all the uniforms, everything in there. We landed at Sevilla, and it was just absolutely fantastic. Now we must think about 50 years back. At the airport, the whole parking lot at the airport was orange trees with oranges in there. It was an incredible sight for all of us. Oh, of course, that's nosy and new rich. We picked up the oranges from the tree, peeled them, and we bit in them. And I tell you, we all spit it out because we had no clue they were marmalade oranges. And they're so bitter, you can't eat them. We were center, the hotels were nice. We were in the center of Sevilla, and Sevilla as a city is fantastic. And that is a good part, a positive, when you work in the film industry, you go to a fantastic location. On top of it was Easter, and all the Easter ceremony and procession all started, and we enjoyed it. When we started filming, the problem started. It started raining. But when I mean raining, rain. The aeroplanes got stuck. They couldn't be moved. They pulled them out with tractors and everything. And that went on for about 3-4 weeks. We hadn't done 30 seconds of filming. So they came up with a good idea to move the whole unit, the whole aeroplanes, everything. They think we were about 240 on the production side, to San Sebastian, which is the other side of Spain, north of Spain, Basque country. By the seaside, beautiful spot, and the center of San Sebastian, the prominent city center, the buildings on the side, with all the Nazi flags up from Adolf Hitler. It was a paradise. They couldn't hit a better town or better Berlin alley than San Sebastian. So everybody was happy, the weather was good. What we didn't calculate with, Falke was still in rule, and there was a big riot going on. Nobody was allowed to go on the street for 4 days over Easter. If you went out, you had permission half an hour in the morning, and I think about in half an hour in the afternoon, evening. If you went outside this time, you were shot. Simple as that. That was Falke. And that's how Spain at that time was run. The word which you would say, we were shitting ourselves when we saw the Guardia Civil, even we hadn't done anything, and they hadn't seen us. It was disastrous. During the strike, or when they happened, the riot, it was a riot. Falke got all the fire engines, and he put a dye in there, a fluorescent dye, which you could not wash off. So still after 3 and 4 weeks, after that riot, police were collecting them from the street, because they had a fluorescent light, they saw it. They went to the dry cleaners, they found the clothes, they got the guys. And at long last, we started filming. I mean, San Sebastian is north of Spain, surrounded by mountains. So it actually looks like Germany, country-wise. For the plane shot, it was fantastic. We were in a big field, and the ideal takeoff field for the Luftwaffe, because that's what they, and the British pilot. But most of the time, as being a German picture, and we lost the war, the British won the war, we were sitting in our seats, in the chairs, waiting to be called for filming. Our film was done quite well, quite quick, sharp and cheap. And that when you see the Battle of Britain, you will find it that the German side is very cut short of what was actually filmed in Spain, because it's mainly landing and takes off. Later on you have shots in Belgium and down in France when Rommel saw the planes going out and not coming back. And the biggest scene, I think, in the picture is when the Luftwaffe learned how many pilots were shot down. And the big scene, table, a festive dinner, candlelights, a lot. And all the empty places from the pilots which never came back. And there was not one happy face at the table. We were all miserable and unbelievable. We were taught we would win the war. The end result, we didn't. I mean, we had the flying uniform, which was grey, like a jumpsuit type. We had our little badge on the side. And then we had the officer's uniform and the German officer's uniform. It's very nice. And not only on this picture, but in other pictures, during the break, we did not change. We went into the local bar, full officers, uniform, and we went into the bars, coffee bar or whatever. 6 officers coming in a full German officer's uniform. What we created was silence. But it got very, very friendly. Once they gasped, then the first shock was over, and we realized we just came in for the coffee or the Spanish tapas. Of course, there was a big gap between the English actors, or German English actors, and the German actors. Because the German actors, they have this fantastic idea that we are artificial artists. We are not actors. If you don't, in Germany, you don't work on stage, you are not an actor. You have to be on stage to qualify. And here in England, to go on stage is a hobby. You get not paid. In Germany, you got paid. And in the English industry, as an actor, in films, you get paid quite well. So there was always a tick for tack on the set, and even during dinner times and meal times, it was always English. They couldn't call us German. The English actor. And it was actually quite funny sometimes. When you go to the script, it was planned. But in principle, the Battle of Britain was actually more than like a documentary. There were changes all over the place, and because of the delay in the production, we were more than 1 month behind, and that cost a lot of money. The production getting short of cash, so there were heavy cuts made to the picture. But the main idea was to show that Britain won the war and Germany lost. I mean, what can you ask for in a picture when you lost it? The war we are talking about. It was a documentary of the superiority of the British and in the war. But then when we look back, it's not an excuse, but it's a Third Reich. It was powerful. At the time it was fantastic. When it goes wrong, it was not anymore fantastic. And then, if you look at the end result, the British got a lot of support from the Australians, the American and Canada. So Germany didn't have a chance, and Hitler went a bit round the bend. Goering wasn't there anymore really. He lost in his own world then. And the last days of the Second World War ended very quickly and successful for Britain, and we can't deny that. As of course we ran over time, we ran the production, ran out of money, so we closed very quickly, finished the filming in Spain, in San Sebastian, and we're coming back to England, and we were called to the Norfolk branches of the British airfields to do some re-shooting or additional shooting of times the scramble, running to the planes and things like that, and sitting outside. It was I enjoyed the film. You learn a lot on every picture, you have problems, you learn a lot, but what? We have to put up with it to bring that a good picture, the production made a good result with the movie. Otherwise we're all out of work.